Happy Sunday evening. So good to have everyone tonight for this wonderful class that Rita and Christina put together for us. This is Happy Writing. If you've been here before, we are a writing group based out of Munich, but we do have people from all over the world that join us for productivity sessions, these great workshops that members bring to us and things like that. So we're super excited to have you tonight. Christina, why don't you go ahead and introduce Rita and tell us a little bit about what's happening this evening?
Rita is one of our dear members of Happy Writing. She's been working in publishing since 2009, both in-house and as a freelancer, and her experience ranges from writing and editing magazines, articles, to editing and proofreading books. And she rarely passes up the opportunity to learn something new, usually with a cup of coffee on hand. I got a preview of this workshop, and I thought that I knew a lot about Word, and I was thinking, oh, this would be really good for the community, and somehow thought that I wouldn't learn anything. But in like the first 10 minutes that we were talking already, I'd learned like 4 things. So I'm really excited. She's got a lot of great things to share. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and share this now in case anybody has to drop out. I'll go ahead and share in the chat some of the upcoming meetings that we have coming up, and a link to, if you see the last link there, the MailChimp link is where you can get a copy of the quick reference guide. She's put together a lot of really great tips there for us. So some of the things that are not going to be included in the session today are also actually in the quick reference guide. So without any further ado, I guess I'll go ahead and turn it over to Rita.
Okay, yeah, thanks. And I'm going to try to cover everything. We'll see.
Okay.
We're going to maybe race through some of this stuff. So I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. Okay, can you see my Word file here?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, well, yeah, first of all, welcome. Thanks for being here. I'm really excited to share some fun tricks in Word, and maybe a few things might not be that fun, but they're really, really helpful. And I wanted to mention right away that I'm on a PC, not a Mac, and I'm using Word 2016. So if you have an earlier version or a later version of Word, or if you're on a Mac, it might be that a few things look a little bit different for you, but it shouldn't be a problem. You should still be able to do all of the same things that I'm about to show you.
One thing I forgot to mention is if you have any questions, since they might be related to whatever's on the screen right now, please do go ahead and raise your hand. I'll be watching, and Jessica will be watching as well. Or just type your question in the chat, and we'll make sure that we get to your question in a timely manner. If you don't know how to raise your hand, if you just go down to reactions, then there's a little raise your hand button there. Great. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, please don't hesitate to stop me if I'm going too fast, or if you get lost or just have a question. Okay, then I'm going to dive into it because we've got a lot to cover. So first, I'll just give you a little overview of what we're going to look at. We will customize the quick access toolbar, which boosts our efficiency right off the bat. We'll look at using keyboard shortcuts and how to create our own. We will try out using autocorrect as a text expander. And if you don't know what that means, just stay with me. It's a lot of fun. We'll look at track changes. We will look at comparing documents. I hope that we'll have time to just quickly look at styles. This is a way to format your text, and also take a quick look at templates. And at the end, I've got some miscellaneous goodies. So to start with, the quick access toolbar. You might be asking what that is, so let's start with some terminology. First of all, we have the ribbon, which is here in red. And of course, you can see it at the top of my screen as well. So the ribbon has various tabs like Home and Review, and we can find anything we need to do in Word in the ribbon. But we can also use the Quick Access Toolbar. So here in the screenshot, you see my Quick Access Toolbar below the ribbon. If you look at the top of my screen, you can also see I have these small symbols here, and I've added these. It's also possible to show this toolbar above the ribbon. If I click on this little arrow and go down to show above the ribbon. It now jumps up here and it looks a little bit different, but it's the exact same commands. So it's just wherever you prefer to have it. And I will put it back below. And what you want to do is think about the things that you use most frequently in Word and add those things to this toolbar. And then they're always at your fingertips, because otherwise you have to go to the right tab and then you have to find what it is that you're looking for. But whatever you put in the toolbar is just always here, no matter which tab you're in. So we can take a quick look at some of the things that I've added to my quick access toolbar. For example, I have add a comment here. So I can click and I have a comment. I can add a table with this little symbol. So I can choose how many columns and how many rows I want to have, and just quickly insert a table into my document. This symbol gives me a hyperlink, and I can type in google.com, and if I can click control, hit control and then click, I go to Google. Yeah, so I've added a little collection here, and I'll show you now how to add some more comments or commands to the quick access toolbar, depending on what you might want to have there. So the easiest way to do this is to start with the ribbon. And if we want to add a bulleted list, that's in the Home tab in the ribbon. So we are already there in the Home tab, and we look. I don't know how well you can see where my cursor is, but here is the bulleted list. Okay. And now normally I would just click, I would do a left click, and here's my bulleted list. But if instead of doing a left click, I do a right click, a little menu pops up here, and right at the top it says Add to Quick Access Toolbar. So I just click on that, and here it is in the Quick Access Toolbar. So now I can add my bulleted list right there. Another one, we could add Find, which is also in the Home tab. So again, we are in the Home tab, and if we go all the way to the right, we see Find. If I do a right click, I can add it to my quick access toolbar. Here it is. And I can search for whatever I want to search for in my file. One more. Let's add the Thesaurus just for fun. This one is in the Review tab over here on the left. So we right click, add to quick access toolbar. And now if we highlight a word such as home, we can just click here and synonyms show up on the right. And we can also organize our quick access toolbar, because so far I've just been throwing things in and they're not in any real order. If we go into Word settings, we can add and remove commands. We can add certain commands like print, which we can't add from the ribbon. So to go to print, I have to go to the File tab, and I find print here. But if I do a right click, nothing happens. But in Word settings, I can add that one. We can also change the order of the commands, and we can add separators to group them. So it may be difficult to see, but there are some faint vertical lines separating some of the commands in my toolbar, so we can add those wherever we want them to be. To get to the settings, in just a moment, we will click on this little down arrow that I've already used right here, and then we'll choose more commands, and that takes us to the settings. So I'll just do that now. More commands. And now we've got suddenly a lot more options, and this may look a little bit intimidating, but there are basically two columns. The left-hand column gives us all the commands that are there in Word, and the right column shows us the commands that are currently in my quick access toolbar. We can click on anything in the left-hand column and then click on this button that says Add to add it to the quick access toolbar. And I thought, why don't we add print? So right now, Word is showing me a list of popular commands, but what I want to see the commands from the File tab. So I can just click on that right here. And now it's a much smaller list. It's easier to find what I'm looking for. It's in alphabetical order. And I'm scrolling down to print, preview, and print. This is the one I want. So it's highlighted, and I'm going to click add. And here it shows up at the bottom. I would like this command to be at the far left-hand side of my screen, which means I need it to be at the top of this list. So while it's highlighted, I can go over to these arrows on the right, and I can move the command up, or I can move it back down. So I'll just move it all the way up to the top. And I talked about organizing these and grouping these, so you can add that thin vertical line that's called a separator. That's always at the very top of the list in the left-hand column. So I'm going to click that, click add, and it's been added here right below print, preview, and print. And I can move that around as well and put it wherever I want it to be, but that's right where I'd like it. So I'm going to just say OK. And now I can see that print, preview, and print has been added to the toolbar. If I click it, I have my print preview, and I can use Printing McPrinter and print this file if I want to. So if this is the only thing you take away, for me, this really, really helps my efficiency, just to be able to put the things that I use on a daily basis right here. And with time, I know exactly where to click. Oh, print, it's right over here. My comment is right here. I wanted to mention that you can also customize the ribbon. So again, the ribbon is this part with the tabs. I'm not sure if I would recommend this because you might accidentally remove something that you later need, but if you want to, you can. And to do that, you would just right click anywhere in the ribbon and click Customize the Ribbon. And here you have a really similar looking window where once again, you can click on commands on the left, add them to the right. This is a little bit more involved, but in the handout, I've put a link for more if you would like to look into customizing the ribbon. So I won't go into any more detail there. Before I go on, do we have any questions?
We don't have any in the chat yet.
Okay.
Seems pretty clear.
We
had some comments about how did I not know about this? And this is going to be so helpful.
Great. Cool. Okay. Then I'll move along. Next, we've got some keyboard shortcuts. So obviously, I've already made things more efficient for myself, being able to just access all of these things with one click. But with a keyboard shortcut, I don't even have to reach for my mouse. So I'm typing and I can use my keyboard shortcut. My hands stay right on the keyboard and it's much more efficient. I'm actually going to split my screen because I want to show you, I want to demonstrate this with some actual text. Okay, so I am a Pride and Prejudice fan, and I took the synopsis of the book from Wikipedia just to have something to work with here. And we'll just run through some of these shortcuts. First of all, I wanted to show you some easy ways to navigate your text. And by the way, the keyboard shortcuts are one place where Macs are different from PCs, so I've given both. So here I've written, you can navigate the text one word at a time. So I am going to hold down Control and then just use the right and left arrow keys to move a word at a time around my text. It can be quite a lot quicker than trying to click exactly in the text where you want to be. And you can use Control and the up and down arrows to navigate one paragraph at a time. So I'm here, I'm going to hold down Control and I hit the down arrow and boom, I'm at the next paragraph. I do it again, Control, down arrow, I'm at the next paragraph and now I'm at the very bottom. And then instead of just control and the arrows, I can use control shift in the arrows to select text. So control shift right and left to select text word by word. Or you can use shift and the up and down arrows to select one line at a time. And this one's also nice, wherever your cursor is. So I'm positioning my cursor right before on her way there. If I then hold Control Shift and I hit the down arrow, I'll have everything from where the cursor is to the end of the paragraph. And I can do that again, Control Shift, down arrow, and get the next paragraph and the next one. Then I've got a handful of pretty basic ones. Cut, Control X removes whatever you've highlighted from your document. And then you can paste it in again with Control V. Copy, Control C, then also lets you paste it in with Control V. I don't want Bingley's to be here, so I can use the undo shortcut, Control Z. It's gone. If I decide, I do want it there, I can use Control Y and it comes back again. So let's redo. Control S saves your document. Control A would select everything, but let's see, I'll do this. Control A, everything in the document is selected. And I'll just go back to Pride and Prejudice again. If you highlight something and do Control B, you get bolding. Highlight it and do Control U for underline. Control I gives you italics. And then we can use Control F for find. We can search for whatever in our file. Control H is one that Christina told me about that I didn't know, but Control H opens up find and replace. Nice. If we want to open up spell check, we can just hit F7. The Thesaurus is Shift F7. You can jump.
Can I stop you for a second on that find and replace? Something that I find so helpful. I was taught to use two spaces after a period or after a colon or whatever. And so I have a tendency to still type two spaces, but now the convention is to just use one. And so at the end of any editing session, I will do a find and replace. I'll do a Control H, and I can do find what, two spaces, replace with one space, and then bam, it's all done. Or if you have like some word that you've found that you spelled wrong like 5 times, this would be a really easy way to go and just take care of all of those.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah. And actually, I sprinkled a couple of double spaces in this file so I could show this. So yeah, you just, I'll close it again. So you do Control H and you bring this up, find and replace. And in the find, hit the spacebar 2 times. And then in replace, just hit the spacebar once. And now we can say replace all. And it made 3 replacements. There were 3 double spaces hidden in there somewhere. Yeah. And I've still got a few more, but these are all on the handout. So we can jump to the very beginning of the document. Christina showed me this as well by holding down Control and hitting Home at the very top. Or to jump to the end of the document, Control End. To add a comment, you can highlight some text and use Control Alt M. To insert a link, Control K. That brings up that same box where you can now type your link. A bulleted list, Control Shift L. You can add a page break with Control Enter. And toggle capitalization is a lot of fun for me. This is Shift F3. You just click in a word and do Shift F3. Suddenly the first letter of the word is capitalized. If you do it again, Shift F3, it's in all caps. and do it one more time to put it all back down to lowercase. And I was trying to figure out why I use this so often, because I think I use it every day. And I think sometimes I'm sloppy when I type and I don't capitalize, and then I go back later and I want to clean it up. So for example, if I had typed the sentence and I was being sloppy, of course, I could go in and delete the B and add a capital B and just keep on going, but it's a lot faster to do Shift F3, move to the next word that needs to be capitalized, Shift F3, move to the next one, Shift F3. I can just do this so quickly and easily. Yeah, and then finally split the window. I've already done that. I have my window split so I can see two parts of the window at the same time, but I can do Control Alt S to unsplit it now. But I was in the wrong part of my document and now I'm at the very bottom. So like I said, these help you to be more efficient, but don't try to learn a bunch of new ones at the same time. It makes sense to pick one or two and use them until they really feel intuitive, and then add a few more in, and maybe write them on a sticky note and stick it onto your monitor while you're learning them. We can also make our own keyboard shortcuts. To do that, we're going to go back into the settings in Word. So we'll go to File, Options, Customize Ribbon, and Keyboard Shortcuts. And I will show you how to do that. And again, all of this is in the handout, so you don't need to try to write anything down. File, and down here we have Options. And now along the left, we look for Customize Ribbon. And now at the very bottom, we have Keyboard Shortcuts, Customize. And once again, we have two columns here. We can choose a category, and then we can see the commands within that category. And most of the commands that we would commonly use already have a keyboard shortcut associated with them. So for example, if I click on the Home tab and I look at bold, it actually has two shortcuts. I don't know why, but Control B and Control Shift B are already there for me. So I actually had to really search to find something that didn't have a shortcut, but I did. Strikethrough does not have a shortcut, and that is in the Home tab. So we have, again, an alphabetical list, and I'm looking for S, Strikethrough. Here it is. So this puts a line through the text selected. And I can now click in here where it says Press New Shortcut Key. And now I have to think, what would be an intuitive shortcut? What would I remember and what will I use? And I might first think, well, Control S, because S stands for strike through. So I can click that in my keyboard. I can say Control S. But then I see that that's already assigned to save my file. And I don't want to change that. So that's not the best shortcut. What if I try Alt S? Oops. Alt S. So this is currently unassigned. It's open and I can click on Assign. There it is. Now I just say Close. And now I can try my new shortcut out. If I highlight this and hit Alt S, I've got my strike through. It's really helpful if you are more advanced in Word, if you're someone who uses macros, which I'm not even going to talk about tonight, or if you use a lot of styles, you can assign keyboard shortcuts to those things, and it will make it a lot faster. Any questions at this point?
Nothing's come up in the chat yet.
Okay, good. Then we're going to move on to probably my favorite one, which is using autocorrect as a text expander. So I don't remember how I came across this, but I was shocked at what you can do, and I love it. So Word already corrects certain misspelled words as we type. For example, if you type accommodate with one M, Word will just change it automatically to have two M's. Or if you write according to and you leave out the space, Word will fix that for you. This is a screenshot from the settings where you can see there's this whole long alphabetical list of things that Word changes because they know people frequently misspell these words. We can add to this list. We can use it for our own purposes. We can customize it. And so just one example is, how do you spell the word Caribbean? Are there two R's? Are there two B's? Are there two R's and two B's? Like, this is one of those words that I struggle to remember. And I have tweaked autocorrect so that I don't have to remember it. Because I've added it to this list, I can now just type .c. So watch this very closely. I've typed .c. I'm not typing anything else, but I will hit a space bar and it changes to Caribbean. And I'll show you now how to do this with an example from my partner. So for his work, he has to type the phrase communication service availability a lot. I don't know exactly what this means, but it's something he types a lot in his day-to-day life. And he can add it to his autocorrect by going in, once again, to settings. So we're going to go back to File, Options. We'll click on Proofing, and then we'll click on Autocorrect Options. So up here, File, Options, Proofing, and Autocorrect Options. Now it's important that here where it says replace text as you type, that has to be ticked, otherwise nothing will happen. And it's also important to have the language set correctly. You can see that at the top of the window, it says English United States, and I'm happy with that because I usually type in American English. So I'm good to go now. And here I'm going to type in communication service availability. And now here on the left, I just have to decide what is it that I want to type for Word to give me communication service availability. And I'm going to choose .CSA because that feels intuitive. And I always begin with a dot with a period for a couple of reasons. One is that the list here is in alphabetical order, like most things in Word. So that means if I begin with a period, my customizations will be right there at the top, and I can come back later and easily see what I've set. And another reason is I want to make sure that I don't choose a word. Like for Caribbean, I could have chosen CAR. That would have also been intuitive because those are the first three letters of the word Caribbean. But then if I'm trying to write something about a car, it will suddenly change to Caribbean. So I feel pretty safe starting with a period that this isn't, I never want to have .CSA in my file. So this all looks good. I just say add. It shows up now here in my list. Say okay, okay. And now back here in the document, let's try it out. .CSA, and I'm not typing, I'm just hitting space, and I have communication service availability. I've got another example for you. If I were a huge Pirates of the Caribbean fan, and if I had a blog that was all about these movies, which I'm not and I don't, but this is a really long movie title. And just imagine a scenario where you have to type this again and again and again. And it's long, it has very specific capitalization, and it's in italics. So this would slow me down if I had to type it repeatedly. So we can even use autocorrect to give us automatic formatting. And to do that, you want to just type whatever it is. So I already have this here, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. It's exactly how I want it to appear. It has the formatting, it's perfect. So I'm going to highlight it and then go back into those same settings. So once again, I go back to File, Options. Here on the left, I choose Proofing and Autocorrect. And because I highlighted that phrase in my document, it already appears here. And you can see it, plain text is ticked. If I change that to formatted text, there it is in italics. And now I have to again think what little shortcut will I remember? For me, it's easy to say .P1 because it's the first Pirates of the Caribbean film. So this again all looks good. I'll say add. Okay. Okay. I'll come back here and I'll just try typing a sentence. So I love dot P1, no, P1, and now spacebar. There it is. We can add the second film as well. Why not? So the second film is Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. So once again, we just highlight it, make sure that it has the right formatting. It's just how we want it. We go to File, Options, Proofing, and Autocorrect. Here it is. Click Formatted Text. And for this one, it's the second film, so I'll say .p2 and say Add. And the second film, .p2, comma, wasn't that great though. So you only want to do this for phrases that you're going to be using a lot, or phrases that are really tricky, or words that are tricky for you to spell. But I have another thing set up that I often use in comments if I'm writing and I'm not happy with a paragraph, for example, but I don't want to stop and fix it now. I just want to keep on going with my draft. I would highlight that text, add a comment. I can do that here in my quick access toolbar, and type .cl. And nothing's happened because Word likes to put my comments in British English. You can see down here at the bottom of my screen, it says English United Kingdom. And I put this autocorrect option in American English. So I have to change the language. I can do that by highlighting it, coming down here to the bottom, and then choosing English United States. So now I have the correct language in my comment. I can try it again, .cl space @rf. This bit feels clunky, work on it later. Or if I were editing a text, I could have a special phrase set up to type, to say to an author, hey, I've made a lot of changes in this part to try to make it flow better or be more elegant or whatever. Please look and see if you're okay with it. It could be multiple sentences, and I just type 2 or 3 letters, and there it is. Any questions here?
So we've just got a couple of comments saying, wow, that's useful and that's so cool. Like you said, I think it's magic. I really see a lot of possibilities here. No questions really. I think just a clarification on the language thing. So the only reason why you have to make sure you're switching back and forth between English United States and English British and German. So if we're just always, if somebody is always using just English United States, they're not going to have the same problem, and it's always going to be set up that way. But you could also have, like for instance, I do editing on British pieces, and I need to make sure that I type things with my British spelling. So I would want to make sure when I, like customize, for example, has a Z in American and an S in British. And so I could change it so that when I have my language setting as British, that it uses the S. So it will work in all of these languages. It's just a matter of making sure you have the right one selected for what your needs are.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's more of a troubleshooting thing, really. Like if for some reason it's not working, just check your language.
Yeah.
Or of course you could also add it to any languages that you type in, and then it's always there. Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Then we'll take a quick look at track changes. So I think we could easily spend a full hour on track changes, and I'm just going to scratch the surface here. But you would probably work with track changes when you get to the editing stage, whether that's with an editor, or perhaps if you're editing your own text, you might want to track the changes you make just in case you don't like what you change and you want to change it back. I'm going to open another file to look at this, but we're going to look at how to turn track changes on and off, which is quite simple. You go to the Review tab and you click this button that says Track Changes. It's on, it's off. We will look at changing what you see, so switching between all markup and simple markup. We'll look at accepting and rejecting changes, accepting and rejecting all the changes, and replying to a comment. So I have that text from Wikipedia again, and I edited it with track changes turned on. So we can imagine that an editor sent us this text back. So if we go up to the review tab in the ribbon, here's where we have all of our options for dealing with track changes. And right now we see all markup. So we see that the editor deleted this part that she wrote in 19th spelled out. She messed with some formatting, made some stuff italics. We see everything that she's changed. But this might be a little confusing if you're trying to read through, especially if there's a paragraph with quite a few changes. So you can really easily change the view on the left-hand side where you see this bar. There's just this thin line here, and you can click on that. And now we have the clean text with the editor's changes. We just don't see those changes. So we could now read through this paragraph without the distraction of all of those markups and see what we think, see if anything jumps out as not being what we want. And then if we want to look in more detail to say, okay, what is it that she changed? I don't even remember how I wrote it. Click again here, and we see all of the changes again. Yeah, we can. So there are multiple ways to accept and reject changes. If you say, oh, of course, we want to spell out 19th, you can right click here and say accept deletion, and right click here and accept insertion. That's one way to do it. I'll just undo. You could also highlight both of these changes and then right click and say accept change. Or you could go up to the ribbon where you have these accept and reject buttons. So we could say accept, 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 and we can jump from change to change. Or, of course, reject, reject. We can also accept or reject all the changes. To do that, you go back here and you click on the arrow below accept. And here you have a few more options. And we can say accept all changes. Boom. But I'll undo that. And or we could reject all changes, although your editor would not appreciate it, but you could. There you go. And then if we look at the comments, if you just hover over the comment or click in the comment, you have these reply and resolve options. So we can respond. The editor asked, is this okay to refer to Bingley, Darcy, and Wickham without Mr.? We could reply and say, yes, fine. And then we can also resolve the comment because this has been dealt with. The editor asked a question, we answered it, we're happy with what she changed, and the comment is still there. We can still go back and look at it, but it's grayed out and we know we don't have to deal with that anymore. And you can also then later reopen the comment if you need to for whatever reason. I think that's all I'm going to do with track changes unless anybody wants to add anything or ask anything here.
Amy just said you can do Control Shift E to open up. Is that?
Let me try it. Control Shift.
Turns on and turns off track changes.
Ah, yeah, it does. Control Shift E. Nice, thank you. Yeah. Okay, but like I said, there's a lot more. There are more options up here.
Sometimes I get documents that will have all of these changes on the left. I don't see that on your screen.
You change that in the show markup. And you can change from balloons to show all revisions in line. So if you switch it to show all revisions in balloons,
hang on.
the first option there,
yeah,
it'll move everything off to the side. So then it's less messy.
feel like it's always kind of messy.
It is,
Yeah.
it is, but it takes out the deleted things and only includes the added things. So
Ah, what was that again?
That was show markup, show revisions in balloons.
Ah, okay.
So Amy, did I have show only comments and formatting in balloons? I did. I think that's what I
yeah,
had.
that's what you had.
That's what I usually work with. Okay, I've actually never used that. Interesting. Thank you.
Pauline is asking, how can I finalize the document after track changes are handled?
So if you've gone through, say that you don't like some of the edit or some of the changes. So for example, we might reject this change, but everything else we're happy with. You can go to accept all changes, or you could choose accept all changes and stop tracking. And now you have a clean file that doesn't show any markup.
But we still get to save the comments, which is also a nice.
The comments are still there. You can, if you want to delete all the comments, there is a shortcut somewhere, I think, to do that. But the comments are still there after you accept all the changes. So then you could right click and manually delete them if you wanted to.
Yeah, I can't remember. There's a way to do that.
In the ribbon up above, there's a delete next to the new
Yeah.
comment, and you can hit the down arrow and it should let you delete all comments.
Yeah,
There you
thank
go.
you. Okay, yeah. Delete all comments and they're gone. Yeah.
Excellent. Great question.
But then save it as a different document. Please
Yes.
don't delete your track changes.
Yep. Okay. Well, then my next item is still related to track changes. Oh, right. So Amy just said, say, okay, we won't save it. Okay. So next we're going to look at compare documents. So this is something you can do. It's kind of detective work. If perhaps you edited a text and you forgot to turn on track changes, this is how you can save yourself. Or you find two files on your computer, they have really similar names and you think, these might be identical, or maybe I changed one, I don't know. You can compare the two documents. To do that, I'm going to go, so I'm in the review tab, I'm going to compare, and I just choose compare. And now I can choose my original document and my revised document, and I wrote down which ones I want. So for my original document, I click here on the little folder, and I want this original. Yeah, makes sense. And then for my revised document, I'm taking the Pride and Prejudice article that I edited, but I accepted the changes, so they're not shown in this one, and I want to see them. Here, you can see that all of the changes will be labeled with my name. You can change it if you don't want that. And I would definitely recommend down here at the bottom saying show changes in new document, because that means both of these documents that I'm comparing, they're not touched, and I have a brand new document to look at. So now I say okay, and I have basically the same file we were just looking at. We've just created a file that has track changes turned on. Yeah. And we can work with this the same way we worked with the other one. We can still accept changes, reject changes. But yeah, we can then immediately find out what's different between the two documents. So is that clear? Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, then we will move along. And we're coming to styles. So styles, I would describe them in a very, very basic description, is that these are an efficient and powerful way of applying formatting. And we're going to go back to a Pride and Prejudice text to look at this. We'll take a look at the styles pane. To get that, we go to the home tab and we click over here. So here are some styles, but we can see more if we click on this expand arrow. So this opens up the styles pane, and you can already see that I have a style for my workshop text in this document. We will take a look at how to apply a style, how to change a style. little tiny bit about how to create a style. And then a couple of cool things you can do if you have used styles. You can rearrange your text in the navigation pane, and you can create a table of contents. So let me open up. Let me check which file I want to open up. Okay, so here I have, once again, the Pride and Prejudice text, but this is, I think this is straight from Wikipedia. There's no formatting in here at all. And I want to give it some formatting. So of course, one way that I could do that would be to highlight Pride and Prejudice. I could go up here and I could say, well, I want it to be bold. I want the font to be bigger, but this would be manual formatting. And styles give us a different way to do this, to change the formatting. So we open the styles pane again by going to this expand arrow. And now we have a list of the styles that are available to us. Pride and Prejudice is the overall heading for this document. So I'm going to choose heading 1 for this. Plot summary is a heading below that. So this is heading 2. And if I look at just the body of the text, this has the format normal already, and that's fine. I don't need to change that. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit in my document and see what else is here. Aha, here is another heading of characters. And this is also heading 2. So both plot summary and characters are heading 2. They're the same level. And now we have a list of our characters. So Elizabeth Bennet will be heading 3. And then we have a little bit of text about her, which is in the normal style again, and that's fine. So all of the characters need to have heading 3 as their style. I can just click in the line and choose heading 3. And again, heading 3. Now we have major themes, that's heading 2. And here's just a list of some of the themes, which will again be heading 3. So we have this hierarchy of headings. Okay, now if we want to see the body of our text, if we want this to look different, say, you know, I would like this to be double spaced. I would like it to be in Times New Roman. I would like it to be a little bit bigger. So the manual way to change that is to go up here to find Times New Roman. But I don't have to do that. I can come into, I know that this is in the normal style. And if I click on this arrow right next to the style, I can say modify. And here I can choose Times New Roman. I can say, let's make it just a little bigger, 12. If I click here, I will get double spacing. And that's enough for me. That's how I want it to look. So I'll say okay. And immediately, all of the text that has that normal format has been changed. I can scroll down and the text about the characters is also in normal style and it looks the same. I could also change the way the headings look if I want to. If I don't like this blue, I can click on the down arrow.
Can I interrupt?
Yes, of course.
Did you know that you could also just like change it in line?
How do you do that?
So if you highlight the text now and change the color.
Okay, let's make it black. Okay.
And change it to whatever you like it to be.
Okay. All right. Let's say. All right.
And then I think, what if you right click on it? Sorry, I can't remember where you go to do this.
It's the same down arrow.
Yeah.
Just select update heading 1 to match selection.
Okay, because we changed it, we selected it, and then we go update heading 1 to match selection.
Yeah.
Okay. Although we don't really see what's happened here because I only have one heading 1, but if I do it to the plot summary, so let's just make it black and bold, and then we can go to heading 2, update heading 2 to match selection. So now let's go find another heading 2. For example, characters. Yeah. Okay, so that's probably an easier way to do it. Yeah, thank you. So we've looked at changing the way the style looks. Creating a style, I'm not going to go into any detail, but if you go down to the bottom of the styles pane here on the left, there's a small symbol. It looks like it has kind of a starburst. If you click on that, you get new style. And here you could name the style, whatever you wanted it to be, and then you could change the formatting. There probably are other ways to do this as well, but this is how I usually do it. But we're not going to create a style now. What's really cool, and what I just recently, I think I only figured this out in the last few days, is because I have used Word's heading styles. These are the headings that the heading styles that Word gives me. Because I've used those, I can actually rearrange the text now. So if I go to the navigation pane, normally I would use this just to search for things in my text. So I open that with Control F. And then if I click on headings, I have a nice little outline of my text. So this gives me all of the various headings, and I see the hierarchy, and I can actually drag these headings here. So if I say, you know what, I don't like the order of the characters, I would like to have Elizabeth, then Darcy, then Jane, then Bingley. I can click on Darcy, drag him up, and drop him there. And over here in my text, I can see it's been changed like that: Elizabeth, Darcy, Jane. Or I could decide to put major themes above characters, and it's been done. And then finally, just one last thing to show you with styles is it's easy to create a table of contents now as well. So I can go to the beginning of my document. I mean, I can go wherever I want. I can insert the table of contents anywhere I want, but I probably want it at the beginning. So I've clicked here. And now I'm going to go to the References tab at the top. And on the left, there's Table of Contents. And if I click there, it gives me a few options, and I'll just take the first one. And here is a table of contents. And I can click, if I want to go to the theme of wealth, I can hold Control and click, and here I am in the document. I might decide to continue working on the text after I make my table of contents. Say that I need another character. So I go down to my characters and I say, I've got to add Wickham to my characters. I go back to my styles. There they are. And let's see, Bingley was heading 3, so Wickham should also be heading 3. And now I go back up to the table of contents, and you can see nothing has changed. I don't have Wickham in my table of contents. I have to update this. So I just click anywhere in the table and choose Update Table. And I can choose to update the page numbers only or update the entire table. I want the entire table. And now there's Wickham. So that's it for styles. There's a lot more. I'm sure that Amy could tell us a lot more, but it's a powerful thing, and it's worth playing with and trying out, I think. Any questions here?
I had no idea you could move things around in the navigation pane.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
No questions.
Okay, good. Then we'll take a tiny little look at templates. So Microsoft gives you templates for documents that need more extensive formatting. So things like invoices, CVs, calendars, and you can see these by going to File and New. And you can also search for additional templates. So this is a screenshot of what you see when you go to File, New, and I'll just do that. File and New. If I scroll down a little bit, you can see I'm looking under Office. So these are the templates that Microsoft Office provides. I can just browse around, and I might say, oh, an education meeting agenda. Yes, I need that. So I click, say Create, and it will open up a new file for me that already has a lot of formatting, and I can click to add the name and title of my board members, for example. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything more about this. It's just good to know that those are there. Will not save that. And
And you can also find a lot of really cool ones online too. Like if you want a special calendar that isn't provided here in Microsoft, then you can find somebody else's version that you can go and use year after year, for example.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I know you can search right here. Like, so I could type calendar, but I'm not sure how much I get. I have to say I don't use these that often. So it will give me some options. So, but would I find even more if I go, where would I go to find those?
Just in Google.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a lot more here than last time I looked, so.
Yeah. And it's also possible to make your own templates, but that is very advanced. I think I've done that maybe, well, I've done it a couple of times, but we're not getting into it now. Then I think I'm on my last section actually. So I've got the miscellaneous goodies, and some of this we've already covered. We've already looked at find. I'll just show you again really briefly, and I'll close my styles pane. So to open the navigation pane, you can go to the home tab and go all the way over to find. There it is. You can search your document. I need to search for goodies to get back to where I was. Or you can use a keyboard shortcut to open that. We also have advanced find, where you can do quite a lot. So we want to go to the navigation pane. I'll open it again with Control F. And I don't really want to keep searching for goodies. Okay, now I click on this down arrow and click on Advanced Find. It really wants me to find goodies in this document. If I now choose more, I get a lot of options. So I can say match case, and I could, for example, say the, but I've put a capital T in, and now it will only find a capital the with a capital T. And I can say find whole words only. So now it won't find the word there, which begins with THE. Or I could click on format and font. Now I can choose a font and search my entire document for that font, if for some reason that might be helpful to me. Or I can click on special, and there's a list of special characters that I can search for. And one last thing that might be interesting here is, let's go back to the search with match case and find whole words only. If we choose reading highlight and say highlight all, we can now close this window. And yeah, if we have the word the and it's capitalized, it will be highlighted. We can scroll through the entire document and they'll all be highlighted. How do we get rid of that? Let's go back to advanced find and maybe just leave that. Does somebody have help for me?
I think it goes away once you type something.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Let me just try it again really quick. So reading highlight, highlight all, close. If I now just type, yeah, you're right. Thank you for that. That makes sense. Good.
We do have a question. Marva is asking, she has Word 2013, and so far she has everything you've talked about. Is there anything different in the newer version that makes it worth buying?
I don't actually know.
I don't remember.
I think that as long as it's working for you, I wouldn't see any reason to update. And also, if you update, I mean, there will be some small differences, and that might be more of a hassle than anything because you have to then find your way around.
Isn't it true that the latest version is subscription only now?
Yes.
So you don't actually get the software anymore. You have a on the cloud subscription service. So
I thought I had read that you could buy Word 2019, but I'm not 100% sure. I know Word 365, you have to subscribe.
yeah, I don't, there was talk of them like completely, like the only way you could get it is if you bought it on eBay. But I don't know if they've done that or not. So
Yeah,
I
I
still
remember
work in
seeing-
Word 2007. So
Oh my gosh. I remember reading that there is a way to get 2019. I don't remember how to find it, but I think if you do a Google search, you can find a way to get it. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the subscription-based world that we're living in right now. So I would say if you have everything here, probably keep it until you can't.
I mean, there are some features available in Word 2019 or Word 365 that I don't have, but I can live without it. It's nothing that I'm suffering from. No. Okay, I think I've just got a few more things here. Let's see. Oh, what did I do? My macro went haywire. Find and replace, we've already looked at. And splitting the window, we've also looked at. But we could maybe just do it one more time. If we go back to our Pride and Prejudice file, you go to View, for example, and Split. I do have it in my quick access toolbar as well. And then if I wanted to, I could be looking at my table of contents while I read. Sometimes it's really helpful to see two parts of the document at the same time. And Christina?
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't there a way to do that? Like if you wanted to have it like side by side as well?
Yes. Oh, well, wait, with the split, I'm not sure if you can split it side by side, but you can have two windows. I was actually about to show the two window thing.
Okay.
Let's try that. Let's see if that's what you were thinking of. Yeah, it's my very next one. So also in the View tab, we go up here, you can click on New Window, and that opens the exact same document, but in a new window. So we'll go back again to Pride and Prejudice here. We'll get rid of the split by just clicking here and dragging it away. And we can go to View, New Window. And I can now arrange these so that they are next to each other. Oops, can I? Yeah, so this is kind of weird, but it's exactly the same document. And if I delete something in this window, it's deleted here too. Is that what you were thinking of, Christina?
Yeah, I guess I usually use this version instead of the split.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you have two windows or two monitors, then it's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can also arrange it like this. Yeah. So yeah, it's just two options for seeing different parts of the document at the same time.
Although sometimes when I use this, it will have the scrolling so that they both scroll at the same time, which kind of defeats the purpose of what I'm going for. And so there's a place to change that if you get back into that same.
Yeah, that's not something I've done before. So I'm in View.
See, if you just go back to that new window.
Oh.
And then there's back to that.
Oh wait, sorry.
Where'd it go?
Sorry. So here, new window, right?
You see,
or is it View side by side? And synchronous scrolling.
Yeah, synchronous scrolling is what I was talking about, where it will automatically make them scroll at the exact same time.
Okay.
that's really the useful if you're doing the compare documents and you do two of them side by side, it will synchronously scroll them so that you don't lose where you are in the two documents.
Okay, so that's for two documents.
Synchronous scrolling. Okay, I'm not making it work now, but interesting. That's something I'll look into.
Just start scrolling now.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah, I did not know about that. Nice. Okay. Let's see what else I've got. Oh, the format painter. This is really, really helpful. This lets you quickly and easily take the formatting from one place and put it somewhere else. So for example, if we had this word formatting in red and we want some other words to be red as well, I mean, one way to do that is to click on the word and go and make it red. But instead, since we have the formatting here, we click in the word, we go to the format painter, which is on the home tab, and it looks like this. So the home tab, it's right here. I also have it in my quick access toolbar for easy access. So I can click right here and then click on another word, and whatever formatting was in that original word will be transferred over. And Christina also told me something I had not known, that you can double click on the format painter. So let's go back into the word with the red formatting. If I now double click, I can use it for lots of different words. So it's really, really handy. I'm just going to undo those. Oops. My macro again. Okay. We've got headers and footers. You can add a header or a footer on the Insert tab up here. Here you have header and footer. And I think we could just go back to Pride and Prejudice again briefly for this. So we go to Insert and choose either header or footer. I'll say header. And if you want, you could have 3 columns. I'll just take this first one with 1. Now, this field has opened up for the header. And if you look up at the ribbon, we suddenly have a new tab that wasn't there before. This is a special design tab for the header and the footer. And we can choose things. So we could just type header. If I just want my header to say header, I can type whatever I want here. Or I can, for example, click on Document Info in this special tab and click File Name. And the name of my file is automatically added. And I could then put a comma and a space and go up to date and time, for example. Here I can choose Sunday, April 25th, 2021. And if I want, I could keep on going. I can put whatever I want in here. So I can go back to date and time and pick the time, put it in. And there's a box here for update automatically. I'm not quite sure how it works. I haven't really put the time into documents before, but I think if I open it up later, then it will just update. And if I now, Christina?
Yeah, I was just going to say that sometimes I use that in my prior life to kind of note the last time that I made changes. And so then I would unclick that update automatically.
Okay.
You can also change it to like as of last save or something like that. There's a bunch of different options.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot to click around and look at, I think. Yeah. To get out of the field, you can just double click somewhere else in your file, and you see the header is in gray. It's nice. It's good to have. We can also add the page number. So if we go back to Insert, and then let's this time do a footer. I'll just say blank. So now we're at the bottom of the page, and we can go up here to page number. And I want to add my page number at the bottom of the page, and I can choose for it to be on the left, in the middle, on the right. I'll choose on the right, and there it is. And once again, I just double click, and yeah, the page number has been added to all of my pages. And I've just got one more, so we're actually pretty good with the time. So the last one I think is fun. I had no idea this was an option. I came across this a few years ago, but Word will read your text out loud to you if you want it to. And this is something where the different versions of Word have different options. And I've listed all of these in the handout, but I'll just give you a quick rundown. So if you have the latest version, Office 2019 or Microsoft 365, there's a read aloud feature, and you can put your cursor at the beginning of your text or halfway through your text, and Word will read everything from that point on to the end of the document. For earlier versions of Word, so for mine or anything before that, there's a speak feature. And for this is what I use sometimes, and you have to highlight the text that you want Word to read. And it's a little bit tricky. This feature is really hidden, but I'll show you how to use it. But you have to highlight the text, and also you have to know that it will only read about 5,000 characters to you, and then it'll stop. And then you have to go back and highlight more if you want more. That's just how it is. But there are also other options. There in Windows, there's an accessibility tool called Windows Narrator, and that can read everything on your screen, including the text in a Word document. I just learned about this recently, and it seems a little complicated because it really wants to read everything, but you can set this up to do that. And I've got a link in the handout if you want to look into that. And for a Mac, there's also an accessibility tool apparently called Speech, which can be set up to read text from a Word document. And for me, I used the Speak feature recently when I was folding laundry, and I wanted to, I had Word read me an essay that I'd written a few years ago that I was thinking about working on. So I multitasked. I was folding my laundry, Word was telling me what I wrote before, and I was able to think about it. And I'm sure there are other reasons you could do it as well. So for Speak, in the earlier versions of Word, you have to add the Speak feature to your quick access toolbar. You will not find it in the ribbon, as far as I can tell. And I have already added it to my quick access toolbar. It's right here, but I'm going to delete it. So if I right click, I can remove it from the quick access toolbar, and let's just look together at how to add it. So we click on the down arrow. We go again to more commands. And I'm going to choose all commands this time because I'm not sure exactly where this is, but I know it's called Speak. So if I have an alphabetical list, I can just go all the way down to S.
I think you can just hit yes.
Can I?
And yeah.
Oh, it put me, it's only giving me the
Select inside the menu. So
so like up here?
Here, yep, click there and hit A.
A.
It'll take you up to A. Hit S, it'll take you down to S.
Amazing. Thank you. Cool. Okay, great.
That's, Christina knew that, but that's courtesy of my engineer nerd husband.
Cool. I mean, there's so much. Yeah. Great. Okay, and now we'll just scroll a bit. It's a very long list. And here it is, Speak. So I've clicked on it. I click Add. And this is another one that I want to have far to the left because I don't want to accidentally have Word read to me. I don't want to think, oh, that's add comment. So I'm going to use the up arrow to move it up, 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 up. There, in between those separators. And now I say okay. And I think, I hope you'll be able to hear this. We'll go back again to Pride and Prejudice. And what I would do then, I'll just highlight one sentence and go to that command in the quick access toolbar. Please tell me if you can hear this.
The novel is set in rural England in the early 19th century.
So, I mean, it's not bad. It's not fantastic, but I mean, I can understand it. And yeah, so I could highlight a couple of paragraphs and get Word to read it to me.
That was so helpful. So many good things there. Thank you so much, Rita.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm going to open it up again. If anyone has any questions, please do feel free to jump in and ask or drop them in the chat and we'll address them that way. I'm also going to drop the link in for the quick reference guide. Everything that Rita covered today is in there. And also if you learned anything and have a little bit of money to spare, feel free to here's Rita's PayPal link, PayPal.me/Rita Forbes, if you have any donations you'd like to send her way. This was so helpful for me, and I'm really excited about putting some of these things into practice. Thank you so much.
I learned a lot from it as well as I was preparing it. I found more things that I hadn't known about. Yeah, so yeah, Word gives us a lot of options.
It does.
Yeah, Rita, I just want to second what everyone is saying. This was amazing. There was a lot that came through that I didn't know about or that I hadn't thought to use in a certain way. Like when you were highlighting the certain words, like when you were highlighting the, I have a habit of starting a lot of sentences with one specific word. It's one of my quirks, so that would make it easier for me to find all of those instances in my document or compare like overuse of certain words. So this was great, and it looks like everybody's really thankful, and I'm very thankful for you bringing your expertise and showing us all these little tricks.
Thanks. I had a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.